From the 22nd of July in East London, Spanish artist Pejac will be opening the doors to his first ever major solo exhibition, Law of the Weakest. Looking ahead to what might be one of the most exciting art shows of the year, I thought I'd put together a short profile on the politically and socially charged elusive artist. Pejac was born in Santander, the capital city of the self-governed autonomous Cantabria region of northern Spain. Now, I know what you're thinking, Cantabria, that's a hot spot for street art, isn't it? Well, you'd be right, because the Altamira caves contain what is regarded as some of the oldest and most well-preserved cave paintings in the world, with some images believed to date all the way back to 37,000 BC. Here we are in 2016 AD, and once again this small region has produced art capable of capturing the world's attention. Pejac's style is quite hard to pin down because it takes so many different forms. Despite having studied at several art schools, his work doesn't come across that way. It doesn't come across elitist or alienating. And it doesn't matter if you've studied at art school, if you've got any really previous experience or interest in art, you can still relate to his work and his dialogue. And that for me carries a lot of weight. Now I'd like to take a look at some of his most memorable projects he's created over the years. In 2013, Pejac created HEVC, a watercolour painting depicting a lone lifesaver ring lost in a sea of abandoned car tyres. Thematically, the painting itself opens up interpretations surrounding personal battles of solitude and inner struggle, but on a much wider social scale, it really makes us question our failings in tackling environmental issues. Whilst travelling, Pejac came across an almost identical abandoned car tyre graveyard. As an artist, of course, this left him with no other option than to take this project to the next level. And of course, he did. He's never actually disclosed the location of the dump, but it shows just how quickly as an artist he can adapt his medium of expression to really make his point and really take his project to a completely new dimension. Working alongside the Spanish embassy, earlier this year Pejac visited Al Hussein and Azraq, a Palestinian and Assyrian refugee camp set up in Amman in Jordan. Mother's Artists was painted on the side of one of the cabins inside the Azraq camp, and it depicts a mother bathing her child whilst telling stories of a better life. A celebration of the mothers who have dedicated their lives to their children and how they've overcome even the toughest of situations to provide hope of a better future. The hand-painted piece conveys the minimalism typical of Pejac's style, but it references his love of the old masters, and what really, of course, carries the weight of this is the context in which it's being painted. What really makes this project work for me is the sensitivity with which he's approached the subject. If we were to say compare it to Banksy's depiction of Steve Jobs in Cali, well, the two are completely different. Banksy is able to garner the international attention that no other artist on the planet would be able to, but for me, the subject matter was almost crude and actually a little bit offensive. Painting Steve Jobs almost insinuates that we should only care about these people because they produced a tech god, or that there is a chance that there could be some celebrity in amongst them. That should be irrelevant. You know, at the end of the day, these are people with real stories, and I think that's what separates Pejac's approach. Have I just mugged off Banksy? His latest project, Downside Up, took place here in London ahead of his show, where he ran around the streets of the East End with gravity-defying shoes tied to lampposts. Obviously. For Law of the Weakest, Pejac has decided to break convention. Probably no surprises there. Instead of working alongside a gallery, he's decided to go solo. He's chosen the London Newcastle on Redchurch Street in Shoreditch, which last year hosted the Barondo show, so expectations are obviously high, as that was one of the standout shows of 2015. Naturally, he's keeping his cards close to his chest of what to expect. You can, however, catch a couple of glimpses on his Instagram and his Facebook, and judging by the hype building around this, I am sure this is going to make an impact on the scene. And if this is the first time you've heard of Pejac, I promise you, it won't be the last. If you aren't able to make it to the show yourself, don't worry, I've got it all covered here at Fifth Wall. Just stay locked and I'll keep you guys informed. Other than that, I've been Doug for Fifth Wall TV. Till next time.